Grant,
Yes.
what's the joke?
Oh my god. I see the alien one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I said this one to you originally, Rob.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, don't screw it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Jeremy, have you ever heard of a sports called Quiet Racket?
Quiet racket.
I just messed up completely, didn't I?
Probably.
I did. Jeremy, have you ever heard of a sport called quiet tennis?
Quiet tennis.
Yeah.
No.
It's like regular tennis, but without the racket.
There we go.
Welcome to another episode of Untitled Car Project.
2 weeks in a row, he's fucked up the joke.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to Untitled Car Project. Show 55.
Woo!
Woo! Okay, this episode, we are going to talk about
Yes?
our previous week's racing adventures,
Yes.
driving adventures. Welcome to the show, Wendy Castillo. Thanks for coming in.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks for continuing to stay here. We didn't drive her out of the studio in the last episode.
No, shh. Welcome back.
I know. The magic of radio. I'm Rob Spring.
I'm Grant Gonzalez.
Jeremy Molt.
Hit us up on Facebook, Messenger, or email us at untitledcarproject@gmail.com.
And make sure to hit that follow button on whatever podcast you're listening to right now.
Awesome. That'll work. I met a whole bunch of cool people down at LS Fest this last weekend.
Nice.
And you went to LS Fest Vegas?
West in
West.
Las Vegas. We
There
will
we
talk
go.
about that, but I just wanted
Did you give
to
out any stickers?
mention that very few. But I did meet a lot of people that listen to the podcast, and I'm going to reach out to some of those people and try to bring them on the show.
Nice.
Interesting.
So, got a few more contacts. Our friend John Nettermeyer was down there. He hung out with us quite a bit.
Hi, John.
John knows a lot of people in the industry and has hooked me up with a couple of people. So,
Nice.
yeah, we're going to reach out to them, bring them on.
Nice.
Do you want to start with Grant's Adventures?
Yeah.
Or the adventure.
I do like Grant's Adventure.
Okay.
My adventures. We're
Let's-
true to choose your own adventure book right now? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with
Okay.
your prep work.
Oh, you mean the deadline, getting Liger going, all the... Okay, we'll start with that one.
Oh, my God. How far back do you want to go?
I don't want to go that far
We're
back.
not going that far back.
Okay.
But for our listeners to know what kind of weekend and what we're prepping for on this one
Yes.
is, so I've got a 2007 Ford Mustang GT built, known as the Liger Zero. Bright red, of course.
Because it goes 0 miles an hour.
So we went
that's
back
okay.
to the origins.
I know. I told you I didn't want to go that far back.
I just wanted to give our listener kind of an idea of what I was racing this weekend.
Okay.
You know, and the other thing of note of it is the car is built to mostly of what a factory could have built, while still being a street car. That being said, she's built with performance in mind. So leading up to the event was getting a lot of things that I'm like, oh, the car's already done. 2 days before, I'm under the car doing a wiring harness. I'm like, oh, I forgot this and I forgot this and I forgot this. So a lot of long nights and finally got her ready to go. So, yeah, not a whole lot of craziness going up to ORP other than the fact I'm like, they close the gates at 9 o'clock. For our listeners, ORP is Oregon Raceway Park in Grass Valley, Oregon. Great location, great track.
It is how many hours from Portland to the east?
3 hours, 2.5 ish.
2.5, 3 hours, yeah.
You know.
Okay.
That being said, at 9 o'clock I was supposed to be there before then,
Right.
PM, because they have a strict close gate for, because they have a person there letting people in and not for security reasons. And I was not really packed. So scrambling, freaking out, grabbing clothes, grabbing things.
Typical Grant situation.
Oh yeah, I was convoying with other people. Well, they were meeting me there, and I had to make sure I had the stove, the griddle, food, the coolers, and on top of all that, because I was like, you know what, let's make everything a lot more difficult. When we had loaded the Liger into the trailer the night before, I had accidentally left the keys on the entire day
Oh, gosh.
with a dead car. So I had to.
So let me ask a
Yeah.
question as you're going through your preparations and
You call it preparation? I call it
and sounding like you scrambling at the very last minute. How
Yeah.
long ahead of time did you know you were going to this event?
Oh, I knew for probably like 2 months.
Okay.
He
Yes.
bought the
And you
tickets
waited
in
until
December.
the last day to realize, oh, I should probably take food. Oh, I need a griddle.
So,
I need to load this. And
I will
Yes.
say this: the food we had bought the week before.
Okay.
I had most of the stuff ready to go. Because typically is when I'm in an event like this, especially a big event, I like to start on Monday, get stuff throughout the week ready to go.
Okay.
That being said, with work this week was the exact opposite, running crazy hours. There was one night I only got 4 hours of sleep, and it was very hard to continue anything else after work after that.
Sure. Yep.
And it happens.
It does.
You know? And when you're in that kind of situation and getting stressed, you got to just try your best to remember what you need. The biggest thing is if you're going to an event that you've been at before and you have connections or friends there that already are bringing things, you can communicate with them, so that's less things you need to bring. Yeah. For example, I didn't bring a jack because I verified with David Puckmall, thank you, David, who was going to be camping with me. He had brought a jack already. I'm like, cool. So if I needed one for whatever reason, that's already there. That being said, I brought a minor amount of tools, torque wrench, things that I was like, okay, these aren't going to be there, you know. So with the battery being dead, though, I was not expecting to bring a battery charger. For Liger runs AGM style batteries, the sealed type, and typically when those go dead, they're hard to bring back. And that being 5 o'clock, and then Grass Valley, there's no auto repair places out there. So if anything did happen where the battery would not charge, it would be about an hour-ish to the Dalles, another hour back to actually get a battery Saturday morning.
Right.
For the race. So I had a spare battery that was possibly going to work. I brought a charger battery box because why not? Just it goes. And the one thing I forgot after the whole truck was loaded was a generator.
Oh, no. Couldn't charge the battery if you wanted to.
So
Yes, he could.
yes, I could.
Yes, he could.
Because it was one of the reasons I have also got the new truck. It has a built-in generator in it.
I forgot about that.
So that saved my bacon because I was like, okay, Stonewall Room, we got this. Let's see how this is going to go.
Yeah.
For the listeners, I've got a 2023 F250 red as well, red for the red car, with a good amount of options, but the one I wanted was the 2,000-watt generator option on that for such an occasion on this one. One less item to bring, have your truck go, and just it was a huge help having it over the weekend. That being said, I do wish I had my generator because there's times like if it's at night, I'd rather have a quiet generator going all night rather than having my truck go. I'd made sure to shut it off right around quiet time.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's a newer, modern diesel, it is not the loud clack, 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 clack. It's when it's quiet and there's no noise out there other than the wind possibly, you're going to wake people up if it's, 1 a.m. still running,
Yep.
So, load everything else up. Got Liger in there, started taking off with that and the bright red trailer. So let's just clarify. Red truck, red trailer, red car. Why? Because red makes it go fast. You're going to race. Got to make a statement. Got to be like, oh, wow,
Okay,
here we go.
Okay, we got the point.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, uneventful getting there. Got there on time. Got unloaded. Met up with friends. Everything unpacked it and just made camp. One thing is at a race event, I don't know about how you guys do it. When I go to an event, I make sure that not only is camp set up, but you want to be included with other people. My camps I typically build make it so it's very friendly for people to walk in and out of because I like the social aspect of it. We're going to be racing there the whole weekend. I want people to come to the site and I want to hear about their cars, what they thought, how they were on the track, and vice versa. Just make a very comfortable atmosphere, So, anyways.
You're too kind.
I'm not too kind. We did have s'mores, though. That was a great day. Yeah, nothing better than being that kind and doing s'mores on that day.
Did your fire pit explode?
Well, no. No.
That's an inside joke that nobody gets, so move on.
Okay. I guess we'll just get to race day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was actually fairly nervous going on to... This was my first race of the season with Liger. For our listeners who have been listening throughout last 10 episodes or so, they'll know that Liger's been going through a good amount of upgrades done to that car. Both from a new rear end for gearing, for a new type of differential going into it, to a new tune that I was trying out and figuring out how it goes through. New camber, bigger wheels, tires. Jeremy actually got to drive Liger beforehand.
Did you get away from the race tune?
I did get away from the race tune, but I didn't get to try that until I was on the track.
Oh, fun.
Will you tell the listeners about your thoughts on the race tune and how the car was prepped?
I think the race tune was too on and off. I don't think
Legitimately.
there was enough pedal at the top to actually feel like you were controlling the car. it felt like it was either go or not go.
Yeah.
So
Which is fine on the big track because you're able to just kind of leave on the throttle. But in autocross, we need kind of have to feather it and get it through at certain points.
Yeah, I never liked the way that thing reacted.
Yeah.
It was basically the type of I don't really like to call it a tune because it's not a tune, but they changed your response of your throttle, so just barely touching it basically gave you at least 50% throttle.
I was going to say a quarter, but yeah,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
So by switching to a performance tune, now I've got the whole modulation back while increasing the horsepower. Not by a heck of a lot, but went with that. But yeah, ORP, what makes this event different is this is a track cross event, meaning it is a full 2.7 mile long track while autocross cones are on it. So that way, essentially, it is a track within a track. You know, ORP also
It's an altered road course.
yeah,
that's the best way to put it. Yeah. And with ORP, we have very exciting features on it, including a up and downhill bank section known as the half pipe, like not a vertical hill, but a very steep hill that you either go up or down, known as Valkyrie Hill. A lot of corners. I believe
A lot of blind corners.
and a lot of blind corners. True. We had someone recently walk the course and have their phone say how much elevation they're going through, and at most there was a 300 elevation change from the highest point to the lowest point, and modulated from that over 6 times. So, very different.
Yeah. It's a hilly course. It's really
300,
fun.
300 feet of up and down.
No, from the lowest to the highest. That's,
I don't believe that.
I'm saying that's what she calculated.
I don't even believe that.
Well, there you go.
That's really hard to believe.
Well, I mean, if it's accumulated, I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, Valkyrie Hill's the tallest one, and it probably gains 50 or 60 feet.
Right.
It's more
So
than that.
accumulative.
No, I don't think it is.
Accumulative, I
Yeah.
can believe that, but what he's saying is
Yeah.
the lowest point to the highest point is 100,
No, I think it's
300 feet.
accumulated
Right.
elevation change.
That I could probably believe, but
Okay.
I don't.
Let's say
believe,
the cumulative then.
I don't
okay.
believe 300 from bottom to the top.
No, I don't either.
Okay.
it's not.
Regardless, there's a drastic amount of elevation changes in this course.
There is. Yeah.
You know, first day we decided to go was going to be clockwise direction. What's nice about the way they set up Saturday is it's been the same setup on the course for the last 4 years now, which is nice because I've ran that for 2 of those events. I missed last year, sadly, due to I think the car wasn't running at the time. And with that being said, my fastest time back then was a 1:26.2, I think was the fastest I've ever put down there, going clockwise on this one. And again, nervous because first event of the season. I also had kind of a nervous thing going into it because reading through the list of competition cars that we're going to be with some pretty skilled, not only car or drivers, but the cars they brought with it. John Juring brought out a Audi R8 with the V10 in it that he had just bought 6 months ago. Has been going with it. We had a FRS Subaru that had a 600 horsepower Camaro LE motor in it that was modified with wide fenders at 315 all the way around.
Oh, that's cool.
We had a 1998 Subaru Legacy 2.5 liter turbo that was built up with 315s as well and made about the same power, 600 horse as that.
Tires.
Yeah, there.
We had Tim Bowenheimer there with his C4 Corvette with, God loads of suspension on it. A driver that's driven it since brand new behind the wheel. And 700 horsepower?
It's pretty close.
7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah. And that's
And the motor's only got like a year and a half, 2 years on it.
yeah, about that. And that's just a few cars to name of some of the talented drivers and cars going there. Steve Wynn was there with his 2015 Mustang. He's a SCCA National Championship driver, and that's his home course too. So very, very talented, very fast people. And I was very worried.
Why? Why were you worried?
I was worried.
Why are you trying to compare yourself to these people?
I was. My
Yes.
worry.
Yes, he was.
My worry coming through it, one of them, is because I feel like last few years I've been racing with one club, and I love racing with that club. And I haven't seen what other drivers can do in other clubs. And I was worried. I didn't know if that meant my skill driving with this one club means that my skill has improved a lot, or because limiting to one, I've limited, it's gotten, my driving style narrower.
Yep.
And I didn't know where it was going to be. And either
fair.
way, it was going to tell me, okay, I need to start expanding more, or I need to be, honing on where I'm at.
Sure.
So that was the ultimate still going through. First lap, cold tires. I'm kind of the person, when I've got cold tires, I should be going slow. And I use that with air quotes, should be. Yeah. So I decided, let's throw some music on and just go for it and see what happens. First lap out, hit a single cone. So it was a dirty 128. On 128.02. If that was a clean one, that would have been my fastest lap on my first cold lap I've ever had going on that track, which immediately I think put me in top 10 just going with that right off the bat. So it was very, whoa.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Was it the first day or the second day that you went plowing?
First day.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Day one.
Yeah. You heard about that? I told you. I didn't tell you. Oh, yeah. I told you guys about
Yeah,
that.
you did.
We'll get into that. Second lap was learning more of the course. Then third lap was a rerun. So fourth lap is where I actually put my fastest run down. I decided I need to get really in the mood. I need to focus down, buckle up. Let's get going. So I immediately grabbed my phone, threw on the song, threw it back in, and started go. And as soon as they said go, I heard Go Go Power Rangers. And it was on like Donkey Kong.
It has to be more distracting than good.
Yeah.
It was, you can't get more distracted than that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said.
Oh, it was fun.
Okay.
So, fourth lap ended up being my fastest one. I put a 125.2 down.
Nice.
So that, getting out of the way on that one thing, that was the lap that put me in overall raw time, 8th place overall, with a PAX time adjusted of 5th place. It's very hard to keep up with my PAX, as those two cars I said, the Legacy as well as the FRS were in my class, and Carl was.
Oh, Carl was there?
Carl was there, and he put a blistering, I think his best time was a 122. The other two cars put a 121, and Tim Bowenheimer put a 120 down with a 119 that he coned.
Nice.
So it was some fast competition.
I'm surprised Carl wasn't right up there too.
He was close, It's really interesting that one thing I found out going on ORP is in the past, because I've been running with other clubs in the past with smaller courses that are really slower speed, ORP is very intimidating because there's times where you're going at 80 miles an hour, sometimes just getting close to 100. What I learned by the end of that day is because I've been driving mainly with the Viper and Corvette Club, we're typically going at speeds around there.
Yeah.
So on ORP, it was kind of, the first couple laps were shaky for me, like actually adrenaline going, and after that I was really relaxed, and it's because it's the same thing as up at Shelton, but now we got hills going through. And I think that was one of the huge advantages I had going into that, because even though you're going uphill, going to a blind corner or whatever, I'm like, okay, this is just like Shelton, except with different music going on. So yeah.
There's always music.
I know.
Yep.
There's always music, and there's always fun going through. I will say this.
How many runs did you get?
We got 7 runs. I got 8 because there was a rerun that happened.
Okay.
So, which getting to the next 2 laps are probably the most important one of this story going through. Which got a lot of people talking. Already, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I will not lie that the amount of people who came up to me after day one.
It said, "Are you okay?"
Not only that, but they were more excited because of when me and Liger are out there with the music going, and you got a Mustang that's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, aka going around the corner. It puts a lot of smiles on people's faces.
And not killing a crowd.
Maybe some cones, but not a crowd. Lap 5.
You hit a lot of cones.
Yeah. Lap 5, Jared had jumped in with me. He had just gotten there, so I have a passenger for the first time going through. I was like, cool. Well, let's get in the mood of it. Let's throw on some Flocky Molly and just go for it like it's 2005 all over again. At that point, it's already starting cooling down the tires. With RE71s, once they get to a point where they're so hot, you can't get them back. You have to keep them at the right temperature cool. That being said, how ORP was set up going clockwise.
You're running 315 square?
This time I was running the 295s RE71s.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason running that is because I figured if I'm running my Hoosiers, which they are coming next week, they would have been melted on that track. We had David Pucknell, who ran Hoosiers only, had to switch to his second set because he already blistered through them on the first day.
Wow.
Yeah. So, fifth lap going through with Liger. How the course is set up in turn 1 goes about a 200 straight shot up a blind hill, very gradual blind hill, with 2 staggered gates, and then into a very long sweeping right-hand corner. Okay? Can you all imagine that? See what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Keep going.
Me and Jared are going through. Music's going fun. Through the first gate, okay. Shift through second gate. As we get through the second gate, back end starts to go. It starts going to the left. No, to the right.
It's a right-hand corner?
So it's a right-hand corner. I'm in the opposite direction in the car, pointing through. The back end just lost out on me. I don't know if it's because I cooled the tires too much and just didn't get traction. I don't know if it's because they overheated, but it's gone. I correct the steering wheel, gas it, and we catch it. Right off the gate, didn't hit a cone, perfect. The problem is I caught it and it whipped around the other direction. So now we're pointing at the quarter and we're almost 90 degrees. And we're going and probably already at 70-ish, maybe 80-ish miles an hour. And Jared's already freaking out. And I'm like, already committed, let's do this. Downshift to second gear and just punch it and hold the throttle right. And then end up drifting the entire corner. Just tire smoke going and everything. I'm like, lap's already gone, but we're going to commit. I'm not going off the track. So we caught that and just kept going and just had fun.
Good.
That one lap, we had 2 gentlemen come up to us after the race, and they let us know we were at corner 1, and it was the most boring thing. Everyone's just like, meow. And then you come along and just it's so loud and we thought, oh, this is it, red flag getting ready, and then you made it, just smoking. It was the coolest thing we've ever seen. And they were freaking out, and I'm like, thank you, yes, that was a lot of fun. It was so good.
Half-life your tires, but it's okay.
Half-life tires, but
Not only that, he went and fucking changed his underwear out when he was done.
Jared might have, To be fair, on the Mustangs, there's no oh shit handle, so he's just grabbed onto his 4-point harness and screaming like we're going to die.
He might have thought he was going to.
Probably. Lap 6 is the big one. This is the one that a lot of people were talking about over the weekend.
This is the one I want to hear.
This is the one you want to hear. So I had another passenger, had Casey in the car with me, and I'm like, okay, car went a little bit slick. We cooled the tires down because maybe they were over hot because it doesn't make sense they're too cold. You can put your hands on them where they're still warm. Okay, good to go. We're getting ready to go. Can't even remember what song we're playing. Take off. Down first corner.
Doesn't matter.
Second corner. Good. After the second corner goes to a downhill with almost a pure straight, wiggling through some corners. So at the end of it, I'm in third gear deep going down. Brake hard turn, down another hill, still continuously going down.
Left-hand turn, downhill.
Left-hand hill,
right
going down, then right-hand. To the base of Valkyrie Hill.
Right.
This is where it all happens. Valkyrie Hill is where you are, as you're going up, you're dodging cones, and it crests the blind top. I know in order to get a good time, you really can't let off the throttle. You've got to be constantly on it and just go for it. As we're going up at the base of it and through the first, second gate, as you go through the second gate, the car will naturally want to go to the left. Mm-hmm. And the tires had gotten hot. And the reason I know this is because they had just barely dipped off of the track and on the right or left. Which ultimately, because you need to adjust to the right again, threw the car off. And it completely threw me off and to the right.
Why did you get off track on the left?
So the line I was going for is just right on that line where I would have shot out for and held onto that. Tires were a little bit hot and shot me further than I wanted to. Yep. I just couldn't recover back from it. Right. So it shot me off, went left. We're at probably 60, 70 miles an hour, going all 4 wheels on the right, into dirt, into dust. Car's sideways. Big cloud going through. Everyone's freaking out. Car just goes, and car shuts off, and typically it does. When Liger shuts off on something going off road, she'll typically take about 3 times to start back up. This is important to the key. I turn to my passenger, immediately get to him. Casey, okay? Yes. Cool. Turn the key. fires up on the first fire. And I'm like, well, she's fired up. We're all good. Let's go. So, first gear takeoff. Can't even see. I know we got to turn right, go. Track's right there. We're back on track within a second. Everything, every orifice, every window, every valve is nothing but dirt coming out of it. And we're screaming up Valkyrie Hill like, I've just lost time, but we're going to make it up right now.
What's that movie? It's the car looks like Mad Max coming back onto the road.
I had heard from Tim Bowenheimer, who was on the opposite end of Valkyrie Hill, had told me that he heard something was going on over the side. He's like, I heard Liger coming, heard her go off track, thought that was it. We were waiting for red flag. And then 3 seconds later, he started hearing the car again. And he's like, it was really weird. As Liger came over the hill, he said that was the most badass thing he's ever seen. He said Liger was screaming like a banshee out of hell, going for blood, while every orifice was coming out, exactly like Jeremy said, like a Mad Max style, just running down that hill. He said it was the coolest thing ever. And we're actually, the person next to him had caught it on video before they crest the hill. We're working on getting that. And as that happened also, behind me was Eli and Jared. They had seen me, and they were in the car behind, and in the distance, they could see me go off track and hit the dust cloud.
How the hell did they see that?
So as Valkyrie Hill, you're going up. Where they were at, they were coming down at a distance. So they could see from the top down.
They could see across.
Weird.
Yeah. And so Eli starts slowing down. He's like, they're going to throw a red flag, whatever's going to go on. Just a little bit. And he said, in that second, he went, car disappeared. 1, 2, car reappeared and taking off. He's like, what is going on? As I'm fury going through. And there may be video of that. That's right when their GoPro possibly may or may not have died. So between that, with the GoPro on top of the GoPro on the helmet, we got all views of this angle. Liger was going so fast on the lap, by the time I got off of Valkyrie Hill and around the half pipe and back to it, we actually passed through the dust cloud again. We caught up with that and was going through it. Yeah. What was absolutely bananas in my case was I was just so in the zone to go fast that we ended up putting a 145 down, which is, again, not close to my 125, but that was still 15 places higher than anyone put for that lap time that day, which I thought was interesting. So it was good. The next lap I just took really cautiously. You know, at a 126 clean, I was like, let's hold off. All right, just be careful, on that one. Yeah, and it was good. That was the one people kept asking about. We got a lot of video on that one. I'm happy on Liger's placement.
Post some of that.
Yeah, and that's the game plan.
Yep.
When it came to the second day, though, that's when things kind of went downhill-ish. Right off the bat, when Liger had gone off track the day before on Saturday, we had found out that one of the inner fender wells had gone from the driver's side to the passenger side and kind of rubbed off. So I had to get that out of there and zip tie some things, call it good. As well as, what else do we have wrong with her? There's one other thing. Oh, the brake hose for the air ducts had come off. And luckily I walked track and found my hanger to hook it back, and we just hooked her up and she's good to go. The one thing I was not assuming to go through was in the morning after cars been raced for an entire day, first thing to do, what is one thing you do to the car, Rob, when you're on the track getting ready?
On the track or getting ready to go?
Getting ready, it's in grid, ready to get.
Tires,
exactly. Which is?
Pressures.
There you go. Tess and Ligers, I figured, be lower because during the day when it's heating up, you're going to let out air. That way you can compensate for that. That way you can get back to what regular pressure is, the tires roll over and get good grip, et cetera, et cetera. I figured probably about that time, maybe 7, 10 PSI is about normal, would you say?
5 to 7. About
5 to 7-ish. Liger on the side that had taken the front of the dirt, of the brunt of it, had dropped 20 PSI.
Yeah, you rolled them over. I was wondering if you had anything stuck in the bead.
So there was some dirt in there.
Yeah.
It didn't look too bad. It filled up the air in the tires. Yeah. And we went on parade laps. And I'm very glad that had happened. And I'm very glad I also checked afterwards. Because by the time we got back from the parade laps and checked it, the passenger side, completely fine, 36, 34. Driver's side, 15 and 12 or something like
You
that.
didn't check them before the parade lap, or you did?
No, I checked them. I filled them to 36, 34.
And they went down
hit
that much?
Then down 20 psi by then.
Wow.
So I made the conscious decision. We're pulling her off.
Yeah.
Too dangerous. Not going to have that happen. And I had some foresight into it to bring 2 tires just in case.
Yeah.
However, them being all seasons, not anything competitive.
Okay.
So, with that being said, I had taken both those 2 tires off passenger side, rotated one of the rears to the front. So the fronts were the RE71s for grip, rear would be my all seasons. The thought process was, as long as the fronts can grip, I can modulate the power of the back if it starts slipping at all, so that will compensate for it. And we'll see how it runs. Because having a 2 different compound tire set, you can get yourself in some pretty damn good trouble if you're not sure how it's going to react, right?
Yeah. You just got to know what you're driving. Yeah.
Exactly, which in my case is a wild Mustang that's just ready to go woo at any moment.
Okay.
So, first lap with Liger on Saturday. We took her out. I had a passenger with me, Mike. He was with me, and
Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday. Sorry, thank you for much. And I said we're going to take this easy, and I'm using air quotes now because they were not air quotes. They were like we're taking it easy, meaning we're going to go for it.
Many bad decisions were made.
Many bad decisions were made. We played James Bond theme song that morning, so that was pretty good. That was a
that's
good
better.
decision. Yeah, that was a good one. So we played The World Is Not Enough. Anyways, as that was going through, it actually held pretty well. The first lap going through was a clean or a dirty 134 going counterclockwise this time. And different on this track was it was set up different than every other year. I was helping set up how it was going through with Ryan Davis, Jolyn, and a few other helpers. So how it was set up was more of a speed course going through for the first half. The second half was more a little bit tighter going on it.
Okay.
And I thought that was very respectable. It brought Liger, even with having different tires, at least in the first lap, top 10. But I was not expecting that to hold because, again, seeing where some of the other competitors were, where they were at like a 125, 124, I'm like, okay, that's... I don't know if I could drop 10 seconds with this. The second lap, we decided to go, again, 007 Skyfall, take it easier because as we're going through that last lap, a lot of back end was starting to go. Very cautiously. Not crazy, but enough where it's like, if the next lap may be a butt pucker. I don't know. Let's just see how it goes. You know what I mean? Let's turn down the music. Let's have it a little bit more comfortable. And I was right, because even though we cooled down the tires, checked the tire pressure, and everything was good, the rear tires had, at that point, gotten so hot where almost every exit to a event, whether it was a gate, whether it was a corner, whatever, the back end wanted to go. And autocrossing is not a drifting event. And so, with that being said, it was a lot of, oh God, control the car, got it, let's go, we're giving speed, okay, catch it again, go, catch it, which was amazing for the crowd. They loved seeing that going that way and seeing me catch it and work the wheel. But by the second lap, I'm like, we're calling it. You know, it's if I keep going like this, I may catch another 2 seconds out of this, which isn't even going to put me in a competitive spot in there. And there's nothing I'm learning for this other than possibly car control. What it's going to show me is I'm either going to hurt myself, I'm going to hurt someone else, or hurt the car. Let's take it off early and just go have fun. Let's go take pictures and enjoy the review and ride and stuff like that. And I think that was a smart decision to do. So Liger had a very good first day. Second day, I wish could have done better. I think we took, out of all that, best time was a 35 with a cone. So 35, about that. And took 36th place overall out of 73 cars, which ain't bad, you know. And the rest of the day was just kind of relaxing, taking a lot of Polaroid photos, meeting with people. I didn't get to ride a whole lot with people.
What was top time of day?
Top time of day was a 1:19 from the Subaru Legacy
Sunday?
on Sunday.
What was Saturdays?
Saturday was a 1:20 from Tim Bodenheimer in the C4 Corvette.
Did Tim run on Sunday?
He did not.
Ah.
Yeah. Tim left it up to me, and I was like, we'll see. I'm not sure about that. You know,
Did
I'll
he
try.
leave?
He had to leave. He had work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bummer.
So I will say the one thing about going to Grass Valley, I love that track. For our listeners, if you ever go there for a track day or any kind of event, two things that I love is the scenery is amazing.
It's
great
gorgeous.
views,
Yep.
and they have bathrooms with full showers. That is,
So you like the facilities?
I like
Well,
the facilities.
Considering you don't have a camper or anything, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
No, it's a really nice facility. I love the track up there. I've run it 3 or 4 different times.
Yeah.
Not enough. I want to get up there more.
And the staff there is amazing. Bill's super nice. Just really good people.
Is it still for sale?
I don't want to get too much of that on audio. We could talk about that after.
We don't know. Yeah.
It's either still for sale or not.
Yeah.
Right, it is or isn't.
I will say the one thing I didn't plan, I knew about this already beforehand. Grass Valley is very windy during the day.
Yeah.
Even if it's sunny and 70, bring a hoodie. I was out on working the half pipe section, watching cars come by, and the one thing was even though the sun was bright and I had sunscreen, if I didn't bring a hoodie, I would have been frozen. Because especially where the half pipe is, all the air is funneled through there. We had wind speeds of 24 miles an hour at that day, and I was shivering cold, even with the sweatshirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went 2 years ago, we made sure to put the trailer in the right direction to block a lot of the wind.
That was the one thing is, so the first day we had the trailer set up right and we're good. The second day we should have put jack on and just tilted. That was the other thing was this is the first time I've been to ORP where the first top paddock, by the time I got there at 7 o'clock, was almost filled. We didn't have a spot almost from our trailer.
Really?
Yeah. David got there earlier, like 6, and he's like, I can't believe this. He's like, I don't know where we're going to fit you, but we were able to get it. Because normally that's what we do, and that's what Jeremy's right. When you have a situation like that, especially when you're building camp, if you have an enclosed trailer or a big vehicle that can block that wind, so you have a place where people can be hanging around the campfire or having food or whatever, it makes a big difference. Because then you don't have to account for, okay, once we're done with things, is things going to get blown away? Is it going to be uncomfortable hanging here? Where are we going to all be at? Things to consider.
Yep.
But it was a great event.
Good.
It's always fun going to RP. It made me excited for the Liger's build. Got the 315 Hoosiers ordered for her. They're coming the next week, and I can't imagine what that car is going to be like with that now.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to also be hitting up this year specifically some more events with some more clubs, just kind of diversing portfolio of different courses and different.
So
people.
you've done track cross, like you said, what, 4 different times?
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Are you ready to take the cones off the course?
I think I am.
Yeah.
As long as we're at that speed, yeah. I think the biggest thing.
Speed is in your right foot, dude.
Yeah. The thing that made me a little bit more comfortable was going off track can be scary, especially when you're ORP. It's very softer.
Yeah.
And the potential of rolling is major.
It's very high. Yeah. Stay on the track.
And it's not just simple as that, because for example,
Yes, it is.
how I was going this time around was not planning going that extra inch. And sometimes that's all it is, because when you're on that bound, you're trying to go for that, for whatever your fastest is. Your tires get hot. Things happen. You're in the last corner. Maybe the weight transfer wasn't just right. I was fine going off that speed because, I've been used to have spin outs of that with the Viper Corvette Club. And not rolling over, I'm like, hey, bonus. Car's fine.
Bonus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do it a lot.
Yeah, and that's one thing. So it made me. What I'm saying is it didn't scare me enough to get me to walk away from track.
Right.
But it also made me realize, okay, this is a potential.
Yep.
So if you're going at those higher speeds, just back off a hair. But there's times where you have to go that route. But just make sure it's not where you're. You can push that edge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that was my weekend. It was fun.
Nice.
It was great. Yeah. Jeremy didn't make it out. Sad
No.
panda.
No, I was fishing on Saturday.
He was fishing.
Rough.
Yes.
It was a rough day.
Yes.
Cool. Well, I guess since you're done with that, I'll go through our experience. So
I gotta ask, what was the first song on your playlist?
0 songs.
No songs.
Probably
There should have been some songs on the drive down.
on the drive
Yeah.
down. There was a lot of songs.
Carpool karaoke the whole way?
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Let's see. I don't know. We started, if you want to go through the whole thing, ask questions at will, but
Oh,
Like-
that's a dangerous game with me.
we started
I'm going to mute him.
packing up probably the week before, realistically, just making sure we had everything. Now, I'll also preface this. Wendy went with me, and this is her first event
Nice.
ever for any
Ever.
kind of auto-related anything.
You've
So,
never been to the races before? Okay.
So I'll
Nice.
kind of go through the racing aspect, and then we can talk about what it's like from a very new perspective, and we'll go in that direction.
Okay.
So anyway, just packing up was kind of like, all right, explaining what to expect and that kind of stuff, how much food we should take, what our facilities are going to be like. Now, I've never been to the LS Fest as that. I've been to that facility for another event, but never been to this particular festival.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of unknown there, but I've done enough events to kind of get the idea.
Okay.
Right. So packing was not that big a deal. You pack way more food than you need.
Well, you always do.
Always
no
do.
matter what trip or what event you're going to, it's better to have more than
I
little.
always take too much.
Yeah.
You're going to Vegas, so you feel like you got the right clothes. We were kind of wrong. It was cold.
It was cold.
The wind was really cold, which was surprising.
Was it more in the desert? Like, where in
So
Vegas
the
was it?
track is northeast of downtown by like 15 miles.
Okay.
So it's out close to McCarran Air Force Base.
Okay.
Industrial Park. It's a huge facility, really big facility. Like they've got they've got a road course. They've got an old defunct road course. They've got the super speedway. They have a drag strip. They have a dirt track. They have a,
Was this at Las Vegas Motor Speedway?
yes,
Yes.
sir. Did I not say that
yeah.
3 times?
No, I missed it.
Okay.
Stop at the scrolls, Jeremy. I'm even taping mine right now.
Right. And so, and then one other oval track that's like a half-mile oval or something like that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of facility, plus all the parking areas and drift pads, burnout pads. I mean, it's a huge place.
Yep.
Car wash.
I've been there.
Car wash?
It's epic.
No car wash?
Dude,
You're saying all the things.
you're the
That's-
worst.
That's their car wash there.
Car wash.
No,
they have a
why
car
would
wash?
they have a car wash?
Well, if you have an event full of stuff like that, they may have
No.
a
Good Lord. So, anyway, point is the place is big, and we're going down there a little bit blind, not knowing, even what staging or the paddocks will look like, where we're parking, all that stuff. So trip was good, uneventful. Left at like 6 o'clock or 6:30 in the morning on Wednesday, and literally drove for 12 hours. Ended up staying the night in,
Was it Tonopah?
I think, Tonopah the
Yeah.
first night. Yeah. Oh, at a Chinese restaurant that I swear was a strip club.
Yes.
You just never know.
They had good
Okay.
food then.
Didn't eat there. No, we ate it down the street at a Mexican restaurant that was really good.
Oh,
There was that weird clown motel.
The Clown Motel in Tonopah. That's a scary place.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. We saw a lot of weird stuff. Just even on the drive. Wiener wolves?
to preface this, we're from Portland, and when you say it's weird, that really means it's weird.
It's weird.
It
Like,
was weird.
There's a motel in Tonopah, Nevada, dedicated to clowns.
Okay.
And we're not talking the fun ones.
Okay.
The scary kind of clowns.
Okay,
A
so
huge cemetery in the back of the
from-
motel.
Yes.
I have
Very
a
big
cousin I
cemetery.
want to take there.
So we're talking
Oh my
about the
God.
clowns like from It. We're talking about the clowns from
Yes.
Yeah.
Space. We're talking about the clowns like Chucky. We're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And each room is themed,
Chucky
apparently.
wasn't a clown.
Yeah.
Was it?
We did not stay at that hotel. We
No.
we slept in our camper across the street, but but yeah, saw a lot of wild stuff. I mean, it's a long drive, like 14
Oh, yeah.
hours, right?
No, more than that. To
Well,
get
the
to
way
Vegas,
you go is more than that, but not.
it's 20-hour trip.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's 14.
Okay.
14 and a half.
Okay.
Tonopah is only 3 hours out of Vegas. So we drove
It took
most of the
12
way.
hours to get there.
Yeah,
Ish.
probably ish. Yeah,
Ish.
yeah.
Yeah, you're
That's about
driving
right.
the wrong way. I don't know where you're going.
Oh, he went out.
You go
and
down to
around.
Sacramento and then over. Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Yeah, you're doing the wrong way.
Sometimes I gotta go that way due to old man's orders.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did see some cool stuff. That drive is pretty interesting. The gold mines out in the desert are
Enormous.
enormous and crazy to think about. You're driving out through Area 51 and that kind of stuff. And no, we didn't see any alien ships, but we saw some weird animals. What was the name of the little town with all the donkeys?
Ass.
Oh,
Beatty. Beatty?
Beatty.
They have
Beatty.
they have wild donkeys that just roam the town.
That's cool. That's really cool.
It's bizarre. Anyway, that is sidetrack from the racing stuff. But so we got down there Thursday, 10 a.m. ish. Went and got registered right away.
Yeah.
And the parking lot was full. I mean,
Yeah.
it looked full.
Like
it wasn't
door to
quite
door
ready.
full?
It was getting there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So registration for autocross was Thursday, and then they had drags that night if you're doing the Grand Champion, which includes start, stop, autocross, and drag racing. I did not do that. I did autocross only.
Okay.
But we got registered, got parked, met a bunch of people, ran into John Nettermeyer down there.
Okay.
He's actually the one that convinced me to sign up for it to begin with.
What car did you bring down there?
I brought the silver Z06 Corvette, the 2007,
Okay.
freshly tuned at 620 horsepower.
Nice.
I had to fix the brakes before going down there because it was having some braking issues. Still wasn't perfect, but honestly, the brakes were... There's something wrong with maybe the anti-lock system because it doesn't give you much pedal feel. It just is either on or off.
Okay.
But they worked.
How come you brought that one over the black Corvette?
I have not fixed my slave cylinder yet in Black Corvette.
Okay.
Still leaking.
Yep. Anyway, so that's the car we brought. And yeah, got all signed up, and then it's just kind of wander around, look at stuff, check out the schedule, figure out when we're supposed to be ready to go. They have for LS Fest in the autocross only, you run two separate autocross tracks. One is right close to the stadium. It's a good sized, man, I don't even, measurement wise, I don't even know how to.
Size of Packwood? Is it good comparison?
It's probably bigger.
No, I think that's pretty decent comparison. It might be a little bigger than
if
that.
It's size of Packwood, let's say...
1,000 by 1,000.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say 600 by 800, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one was a little longer than wide, so maybe 8 by 1,000.
Okay.
A good size course. We walked the course, really nice layout.
How long did it take you to walk it? That might give us an idea of reference.
Well, here's the reference: it was a 50, depending on who's driving. Okay, so your average driver is going to finish it in 56 to 58 seconds. Okay, so it's a minute course.
It's about the size of Shelton then?
Yeah,
Okay.
just a different shape.
Okay.
Yep. So we walked that course, and then we hitched a ride with Nettermeyer to go over to the other course, which was track cross, basically. So they set it up on the outside road course.
Nice.
It was closed, didn't have a chance to look at it that day. But it was, the outside road course is on the other side of the stadium, so it takes a minute to drive around the stadium to get to it. So we started our day Friday morning, and we did outside road course first. So we went over there, walked course Friday morning, kind of waited for everybody to get gridded up and that kind of stuff. Grid was very big, so they ran trucks, vintage. I say vintage, but I don't think they called it vintage. Autocross only, Grand Champion. I think there was one other class as well, but they ran it all at once. Okay.
That's a stupid question. to
Split
ask.
up between the two autocross courses, 261 competitors. Okay.
Damn.
I got a question to ask. At LS Fest, is LS the only motors that you're allowed to run, or can you run like an LT?
LT and LS.
That's the only two motors.
Only two. Yep.
Okay. So no Chevy 350s,
Right.
no 400s,
Right.
no Mustangs.
No Mustangs. Well, you had Mustangs.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Mustang
That one.
body
Yep.
with an LS in it.
We'll get to that later, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
I did see a handful of Fords with Chevy motors, a couple of Dodges, a Challenger. Seemed like there was another one too with Chevy motors. Various things. A Porsche 914.
Oh, wow.
That thing was so cool.
Yeah.
It was really fast. They were running eighth mile. They
Okay.
ran 140 miles an hour
Oh, wow.
in an eighth mile drag.
Very light car.
Very light, very fast. So there was cool stuff.
Is there any?
There was some Ford trucks with Chevy motors.
Did any of those cars or vehicles have any engines that were like relocated, like a truck that had an engine in the back, or
There was
You know what I'm
some
saying?
there was some odd stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, back to
other cross
Friday
track?
morning autocross. So we went out and walked the road course. Kind of got an idea of the flow. I really liked it. They didn't impede the course very much. A little bit, they pushed you to the outside of a corner here and there, but pretty much kept you to the flow of the track.
So it's set up more like an SCCA autocross, kind of, because they try to
Well,
keep it more flowy.
For track cross?
Yeah,
See, I've never run SCCA track cross, so I don't
it's
know.
pretty much like any BCA course.
No, it's not, because Ryan ruins courses. They only ran a third of the course. They didn't run the whole thing. So it was short. It was still in the 50 to 60 whatever range for
Okay.
the slower people. But it was a good course. Liked it. We got running, 9 o'clock. And I got my first lap in, and the timing system was not working right. Like, it worked for the first row of cars in staging, and then something went haywire, and it was adding 15 seconds to everybody's time.
Oh,
And they didn't notice it until we got through 3 lines of staging. And we're talking 150 cars.
did everyone get reruns?
No, they didn't do it.
Oh,
Didn't get a run.
oh,
I
that's
mean,
not.
you got a
okay.
run, but the time was inflated. It was bad. So got out there for second run, or it was staging, and car died. Wouldn't refire, wouldn't start. Got a jump start, push, start. Got it fired, got into grid, and went and did my lap. It was a great lap. Time was correct. I don't remember the numbers at the moment. It's 56, 50.
Wendy, did you ride with him when he was doing all these laps?
Not yet.
Okay.
No. So originally we had heard that.
Your first was 52.4.
Okay. So at first we had heard that passengers were not allowed.
Oh, interesting.
And then we found out at driver's meeting passengers are allowed, but we didn't bring the helmet over.
Okay.
So she didn't get to ride.
Okay.
So yeah, like the very first one that got discounted was like a 76 something. And then, so that lap after the car died, got it refired, ran a 52.4. Pretty good lap. Car felt a little slippery, getting used to the brakes and stuff. I hadn't driven this car in almost 3 years.
Welcome to my world.
And this is the first runs in this car.
Yeah.
Since motor rebuild, brakes being different, car is completely different than the black car. Hadn't driven it in that long. I felt really good about
Really
it.
been 3 years?
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Okay.
2.5 anyway. Probably
who was
3
the last
autocross.
person to drive it? Was it you or Jamie?
Yes. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just yeah.
Probably
we
the same.
Yeah, we
co-drove it.
Yeah, we co-drove the car, so it was
Okay.
same day.
Okay.
Anyway, I got back into grid, and the guy's like, "You have a rerun. Somebody messed up on course or timing, something weird." They said, "You got a rerun." So I'm like, "If you want it," I was like, "Yeah, I'll take a rerun." So I go up there, get the rerun, and I ran a second slower because I misshifted on one of the straightaways, and still run felt okay. But then they didn't count the 52.4 run; they counted the 53.4 or whatever it
It
was.
was 53.4.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was kind of weird. And then I got back into the grid and started figuring out why the car died and wouldn't restart. Well, I looked at my voltmeter gauge, and it was down at 8. I
So
had no power coming from the battery. I had no power from my alternator. I was dying.
let me guess. You said it was from the alternator.
Yeah, alternator.
So that
died.
means what caused it was either the gremlins or the lack of music playing.
Right. You
The lack of music,
music
would
would've
have
helped.
more.
Yeah, it'd been worse. So anyway, yeah, alternator had died. I was running on battery only. I was kind of like, oh crap, now what do I do? And because I actually felt the car not running very good on that rerun.
Yeah.
It just run a little bit rough and that kind of stuff. So sitting in grid, the car's starting to run rougher. I'm like, this is not going to work. And we have a trek to get back around the other side of the stadium back to the pits. And I'm like looking at my watch. I'm going to throw away some runs. Oh, well, I got to go. So we packed it up. The car ran like absolute dog shit all the way back to the pits, but we made it. And so took it from there. I pulled the alternator. I looked up online where the nearest auto parts store was. hustled it over there, bought a new alternator, and threw it in.
Drove the car over there?
No.
You hit the truck.
Jesus.
You gotta think of the details, Rob.
No,
No.
you're the only one that goes sideways.
You're the
Yeah, I
only
know.
one that
Everybody else can get it.
I go sideways, but then I recover from it.
No, you don't.
No?
No, you don't.
No.
Okay. I end up in the dirt.
I'm gonna mute him. Where's the mute button?
Anyway, picked up an alternator, threw it in the car, got it ready for afternoon runs on course 1, the standard autocross course. And had a little bit of issues. We got over to course 1, did the first run.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Did the first run. It was fine. Shut the car off in between runs because it was a long wait. It was like an hour between runs because of so many cars.
Wow.
Yeah. Long wait.
So does that mean literally every time you ran, tires are cold?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tires and brakes. Cold every time. So
How'd you compensate with the Hoosiers?
I didn't.
Like, I
no,
mean-
it's streets.
Oh, you had the street tires
Yeah,
on.
you have to run street
Oh. So you ran, what'd you run, the BF Goodrich or the Yokohama?
yokes. Yokohamas.
AO 52s.
Yep. Yeah, so it was cold every time, which is fine on Yokohamas ish. You can tell the difference like 2 turns in.
I will say with
Same with the brakes.
I will say with RE71s, the one bonus is with them on cold tires, you can get really good grip right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't take long for them to heat up to get their grip.
Yokes are the same. They work better cold.
Yeah.
You want me to kick you in the knee with
I
that?
know, just my knee keeps popping.
So anyway, got the first run in, came back, shut the car down. Getting prepped for run 2, car wouldn't start.
Again?
Actually, it was first run. Now that I think about it, it was first run. We went into grid and sat and we were waiting.
It was first.
Yeah, it was first run. Car wouldn't start. And I thought, well, I didn't get a deep enough charge in the battery, right? Because I started it and drove it over there. Seemed fine.
Yeah.
We charged it as long as we could. I borrowed a high amp charger. High amp. It was 4 amp, but still
Yeah.
better than the one I had. Charged it for a few hours. Car started, drove over there. Alternator was putting out good power, working fine.
So
Car wouldn't start when I went to go to grid for my first run.
it's a question on that. Because the car is a heavily modified C6 race car.
Correct.
The battery that you got in, is it a traditional car battery or is it a lithium battery for lightweight that's relocated?
No, it is traditional battery. We tried the lithium thing. They're too hard to maintain
Okay.
for that particular car.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, wouldn't start. Couldn't. I didn't really know why. Should have started just fine, but it was acting weird too. It wasn't even clicking or turning over, nothing. Dash lights were intermittent. I'm like, what is going on? Got some people to push me, thinking I could jump start it again like I did earlier in the day. We ended up pushing back and forth a couple of times. We had a bunch of people jump in and like, oh, let us help,
Trying to
you know.
help.
Yeah.
Some people that, you know, good with C6s, they know the car and this and that. And we kind of narrowed it down. It's like we had a security fault on the dash. Like it wasn't recognizing the key fob or something. But the key fob was working. So it was really weird. Found a loose battery terminal, negative battery terminal was a little bit sloppy. So we played with that on and off like 6 different times. Still couldn't get it to go.
Did you kick it?
Those guys had to get ready for their runs. So
Yeah.
they kind of walked away. I took the battery terminal off and fiddled with it, put it back on. Lights came on the car. I'm like, okay, maybe. I went and tried it, fired right up. And I'm
There you
like,
go.
okay,
There
we're
you
leaving
go.
it running for the rest of this time. I'm going to leave it running for 2 hours if I have to,
Okay.
which is what I did. Anyway, they still had not completed the entire run group. So I went and jumped in line and got my first run.
Oh, wow.
I know, totally lucky. It was a good run. Wendy got to ride. We grabbed a helmet in between. And yeah, just got back into grid and just let it run idle the rest of the time. I was like, I'll fiddle with it more after we're all done for the day and I can, you know, really kind of nail down what's going on. Went and did the runs. It was actually a really good course. We had a good time. I laid down some very competitive runs. Actually, yeah, think about that. I left the morning session in first place autocross only.
Nice.
I left the afternoon session autocross only course, which was course 1. I think second or third overall.
Okay. What's the difference between, like, because there's people who,
Grand champion.
yeah.
they score them separately.
Okay.
So Grand Champion is the combination of, drag racing, autocross, S3, all that.
Were any of those guys faster than you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How
So
big of a
overall, I'll get to the overalls, but
Okay.
yes. So the Grand Champion, the people that were competing in that, quite a bit faster.
Okay.
Anyway, finished up the day. I'd slipped 2 spots on when the afternoon people ran over on the road course. So I was like third in both courses or something by the end of the day. Still felt really good about it, Took the car back to the trailer, started messing, let it cool down a little bit because it was super hot, but started messing with things, tightened up the battery terminals. Everything seemed good. It would start, exercised it a few times. Everything seemed fine. Next day.
Yay. This would be Sunday?
This would be
Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay.
Next day, starting on the short course, autocross course 1. Take the car over there, staging. I think this is where we ran the first run. And car started, everything was fine. Come back to grid, getting ready to go for second run, car wouldn't start again. Like, what the shit's going on? So I had remembered issues that we'd had with that car in years past because it has a track box that disables all of the nannies, turns off all traction control, stabilization control, all that. We'd had troubles with that thing where the car wouldn't start, but day before I had forgotten that. I didn't remember that was an issue.
Is that the box that it typically gets problems when it's overheated?
That one seems like we thought that in the past, but
Yeah.
I'm not so sure because it was not hot down there.
Okay.
Anyway, I remembered unplug it, plug it back in, fires up. Had to move the plugs a couple of times, but got it to fire. Okay, figured it out. That's what's actually causing our issue. Rest of the day, car ran great, just fine. First course, second course, never had another issue with it. So super happy with that. Finally got through all the gremlins and all the stress of making sure the car was going to run and that kind of stuff. Went out, did my runs, actually ended up finished course 1, 0.111 behind the leader.
Wow.
Third place, but 0.111 behind.
Okay.
So autocross only, they score both courses, and your time differential is the offset, right?
Okay.
So we go over to course 2 in the afternoon, course 2 in the afternoon, and finally got all the runs. The timing was working good, Actually had a really good time over there. The car was handling just superb. Like it was really fun. Watching the times come down, I was getting a little better all the time. Third run, did we get 4 or 3?
3.
3 runs. Okay, so second run, I actually put down top time, moved me into first place, and then a fight broke out in the pits.
Really?
Drama.
Yeah, big drama.
What was it about?
Somebody was doing a burnout in front of somebody else and throwing rubber all over their car.
Oh, that's not okay. Jeremy, why'd you do that?
I wouldn't do that. I'm not an asshole.
Yeah.
I know, you're the one who's being covered in rubber.
The drama was quite interesting, but it did pause us for like 30 minutes.
Did they say whether, like, in the pit, or were they getting ready to prep to go on there and they need stickiness?
They were in
in line.
They were, the one guy was at the line ready to start his run, doing a huge burnout and throwing it all over the car behind him that was staged.
How far back were they? Because like when autocross, we step in 20 feet before that purpose alone.
Right,
You
I know.
Still throw rubber that far.
Yeah, you
True,
could.
but
I personally do that. I hold back because I don't want them throwing shit on my car.
Yeah.
But this guy was staged right up behind him
Right.
in a Cadillac. Yeah.
That's a big car.
Yeah.
It was a Cadillac wagon.
Damn.
And the thing was a beast, too. I mean, it was annoyingly loud.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an LS motor.
It was.
I almost bought one of those.
Anyway, so the fight breaks out. They call the cops, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a big deal. Anyway, it put us on hold for like 30 minutes. We're sitting there. A bunch of people dropped out of grid. I'm not going to wait for this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, I paid to be here. I'm going to get all my runs in, you know? So finally get the green light. We go out for the last run, and I put one down that beat my previous time by 0.2.
Wow.
So I was in first place by 0.345, which puts me the overall winner because my offset was greater than the 0.111
Nice.
of the other course. So I ended up winning autocross only
Nice.
by like
Congrats.
0.2.
Nice.
Yeah, I felt
No
pretty good
cones
about
throughout the day?
that. I did hit a couple of cones on short course.
Okay.
You bumped them.
Yep, I hit one in the slalom. Only one run.
Okay.
S3, I hit more cones than S3. The start stop.
How did they do it if you missed the gate? Was it DNF or so many? Like, how was
A
there?
cone
Yeah.
or a missed gate was DNF. Didn't matter.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, there's no time penalties. And I agree with it. There's no point in a time penalty. A 2-second, you're done anyway.
Yeah.
DNF it. Right? With that kind of competition,
That kind of competition, yes.
you cannot afford any kind of penalties.
Yeah.
So it's just DNF.
Yeah.
But I only hit one cone.
Did they have people shedding cones, or did you have to go shed cones?
We did not have to shed cones.
How'd they do that?
They
Was that
had-
why it took forever?
They had their own people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They paid people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They paid course
Wow.
workers and all that.
We need
Anyway.
to look into that. That's a good idea. Called
luck.
interns
It
nowadays.
makes it more expensive.
But it's called interns. There you go.
Anyway, ended up winning autocross only. So as far as overall,
Yeah.
260 cars. I finished on road course or the cone cross, whatever you want to call
Track
it.
cross.
Track cross. 22nd
Nice.
out of 261. And then on short course, I was 33rd out of 261
Nice.
overall.
Nice.
I'm actually
I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, that's pretty
I'm
good.
surprised because the cars that were only autocross,
Yep.
there was there any that were just built strictly for autocross? Like you would think some of those competitors would be.
I think some of them, well, yes, there were some strictly autocross cars. Guys that didn't want to drag race are the ones that signed up for autocross only.
Yeah.
Others, like whether they were set up for it or not, decided to do Grand Champion. I don't know really why, because they wanted to do drag race. I don't know. Our cars are not set up for drag racing, and I don't want to do it, so I didn't. You know, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. I didn't place in that overall.
Can you tell us, for us and listeners, what were the top 5 cars then for both tracks set up?
No.
So you don't know what
I
was
don't
getting
have it
second
off
or
the top of my head.
Okay.
No, I mean Duke Langley won it all
No, I mean like well,
in
what,
his 2002 Z06.
yeah,
That car is a beast, and it's set up specific for autocross.
okay,
I mean, he did the or the drag race also anyway, and
Yeah.
I really don't know how he finished in that, but you know, just to go get the points. But you know, he won the Grand Champion and stuff like that. So Sunday was the S3 challenge, which is start, speed, stop.
okay.
Okay, basically it's a drag race, turnaround, drag race back.
That's what we saw at SEMA.
SEMA,
Okay.
yes, the Optima.
Yeah,
Same thing. So, you know, you're starting from a dead stop, drag racing 800 or 900 feet down. You go around a turnaround. The turnaround at this event, LS Fest West, was a bit wider than the one we saw at Optima.
Okay.
Like it was an actual kind of a right hand versus or left hand turn with about 40 feet in between the next cone. So you had kind of a U-turn rather than a pivot cone.
okay, that
makes
nice.
sense.
Yeah. So you can carry some speed around it then.
Yeah, a little bit, which was good because, you know, the car tended to want to lock up brakes and that kind of stuff. So you could kind of ease into it, slide it around the corner, and then mash the gas again, head down to the stop box.
Okay.
It was a riot. I hit a bunch of cones in the stop box. Actually, no, I shouldn't say a bunch.
You didn't hit a bunch.
Only 2 out of the 4 runs I hit cones. And so you start, we started on the right-hand side because you run against somebody, right hand and left side. Start on the right-hand side, you do that box, you then switch over to the left-hand side and you do that side. And you run against a competitor. Now, that really doesn't play into your scoring. It's all timed, but it's kind of fun to drag race somebody down to the other end and then drag race back.
Yeah.
So the 2 times I did hit cones, the first time I hit it on the right-hand side. The next time was like 2 runs later, I hit them on the left-hand side or something like that. Times are about 17 to 18 seconds.
Okay.
A run down, run back.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty fun. I don't know if I would do it all the time because it's hell on tires. Because you're locking up your brakes a lot, especially if your brakes aren't working super good.
Yeah.
Flat spots.
Flat spots on tires. There was a lot of people.
You have
flat spotting
ABS in that
tires.
car, don't you?
Yeah, it's not working right.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Still get flat spots.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Anyway, super fun. That was good.
Were you surprised? Did they have a slalom challenge at all?
No,
Were you surprised they didn't?
not really. I mean, it would be I think that would be a good ad
Yeah.
competition.
Because with the amount of different types of cars there, that'd be very interesting to see how
That would be fun.
Because
Yeah.
that's one thing you can separate different, even though all of them have the same LS motor,
Yeah,
how that affects it with each car.
yeah. No, I think a
And
slalom
driver.
challenge would be super fun to do.
Yeah.
They had decent slaloms in course 1 for the autocross. There was one was just a 3 cone, but the other one was like a 5 cone. And that was pretty fun. On the big course, there was a 4 cone slalom on the back straight before you got to open it up into third gear, 110 miles an hour ish. So I overall really enjoyed the courses. The course setups were good. They were fun. Atmosphere is amazing. So many cars, because not only do you have the autocross and grand champion people, you've got drag race only. So you've got purpose-built drag race cars. You've got off-road. So you've got purpose-built off-road trucks and buggies, all LS powered. They actually had jumps. They jumped them,
Oh, wow.
which was really impressive to watch these trucks. Big jumps. We're not talking little jumps. They were big.
Like 30 foot?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really big. Like there was a jump over the course kind of big.
Wow.
Yeah.
90
Where
foot.
cars were driving underneath them.
They were not.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had-
Yes.
how could you get away with that on a safety aspect? I mean,
They do it in rally championship all the time.
what?
You don't watch enough
No.
off-road.
Okay.
He doesn't.
Yeah. Anyway, so they've got that. They've got drifting, lots of drifting, which when they did the drift, the big course drift challenge, where it was an actual laid out course, kind of a figure 8 that they did, that was really cool to watch. And they did tandem drifting in that.
That was awesome.
That was really cool. They had a small course drift set up, which I think was just burnout wars, people just going in circles, burning off their tires. They had, what did they call the other one where they melted tires and blew up engines?
I thought that was.
Smoke something.
Yeah,
Smokey
it
and the
was.
Bandit?
It was. I think it was the. Hold on.
You know, you
Smoke them if you got them?
Smoke them if you got them. Ruined a lot of tires over the weekend.
Bet.
Yeah.
Was that asphalt pretty much rubber by the end of it?
It was all rubber. Yeah. Just complete
What was the generalized sound when you guys were there? Was
loud all the time.
it? Well, I know it was loud, but were you hearing more engine? Were you hearing more tire noise? Were you hearing more like
No, it
general
was
crowd noise or music?
Engine. Mostly
Engine was the most thing.
Yeah, they did have music a lot in many of the areas. Oh, there's also a giant car show going on at the same time.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is a car show, but
No,
Up in smoke.
specific. Up in smoke.
Up
that
in
was
smoke.
The other, yeah.
okay.
They aren't joking.
No, yeah, a lot of tire smoke. But the car show was completely not separate, but it was a different area for specifically car show cars.
Yeah,
So it wasn't your autocross cars going into the car show. These people came just to show their cars.
yeah.
It was huge
Oh, it was massive.
on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday especially, a lot of people, just spectators, because it's open for spectating, and people turn out like they watch. I think the biggest thing they come to see is drifting and smoke show. See people blow stuff up,
Yeah.
but
That's
a
probably
lot
the
of them
younger
did.
Crowd.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a pretty young crowd. There was grandstands though down by the autocross course, so there was people sitting in the grandstands watching us race and that kind of stuff, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, overall, just a fantastic time. Great atmosphere, really good people. I met a ton of people. We'll be able to get some of them on the show.
Nice.
Yeah, so had a really good time, and like even driving down there and back is not bad.
Did you see any Teslas over there?
I saw a Cybro truck.
With an LS?
That's what I want to know.
I did not verify, but I believe so.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
As much as we bash on it, I'd like to see like how they put an engine there, got cooling to it.
I know it.
You know, because I mean, like the front end is flat. How do you get air into there just to cool
Yeah.
that down?
I saw it, but I didn't go look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I had zero interest.
What was the most obscure car you saw there?
Obscure. Oof. I don't know. There's a lot of
In Carmen Gia?
late model stuff. I mean, the 914 with an LS in it is pretty different.
That's pretty
It's. I will say this. So like, because I was
Mach 1 Mustang with an LS.
that one I thought was
That's
interesting.
funny.
The 914s. It's a fairly common swap to do a Chevy 350 motor into.
Yeah.
But LS, I haven't heard of that. But assuming,
Oh, I don't know why.
Yeah.
you know,
well,
yeah. Well, when I was looking into it, was like probably about a decade ago.
Yeah.
LS is more common now, but like the fact is, smaller package that makes more sense onto it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know with that car, I wonder how much you have to bulk up because that's a lot more power than
For sure.
base model 350, like 250, 300 horses.
Thing was fast.
Yeah,
Sounded really good.
yeah.
Yep. It's pretty cool. We'll do it again. I would have signed up while I was there if I could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way, keep reminding me to put an LS in my Mustang.
you need to put an LS in your Mustang. It's the only way to make it go fast.
He needs an LS powered
car.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I tried to give him one.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
You could put one in the arcade machine. You can't tell me that'd be funny to race
No.
that.
No. It'd be almost as safe as your Lambo.
We could put it in there.
No.
lots of C10s,
Yeah.
a few Blazers. We're actually parked next to the laid back K5 Blazer crew.
Nice. Whoa.
Very cool truck. Tons and tons of Camaros.
What was the most common LS motor there?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, how do you? Probably LS3, but how do you know?
I don't know. You're the Chevy guy.
I know, but you can't
You didn't
see him.
ask everybody.
No, I didn't go around. Let's see, there's 10,000 people here. I need to ask each one.
I mean,
Take a toll. You could do that. You come down with me with your notepad. You don't even need to drive something. You just walk
could you
around
keep
the
up
pits.
with me?
No, I wouldn't. I would just turn you loose.
You'd be like, "There's the orange shirt running around."
There he
Okay.
goes. Yeah. Yeah. We'll put a beacon on you, and that way I can find you when it's
Keep
food
your
time.
phone. We'll call you in a week.
Robin, need more stickers.
I brought you some. Anyway, so I want to talk to Wendy and get her input on first timer.
Yeah.
Absolute first timer to any kind of car event, any kind of, let alone a festival style event.
This is definitely not
Even-
your road trip car.
No.
Even leading up to it, like, what did you think to start with? I said, all right, I've signed up for this thing. We're going.
I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea what to expect.
All right. Just like, okay, going in blind.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
go. It's
All
an
right.
adventure.
You
Let's do
saw
it.
the car going in the trailer. Never even sat in it before.
No, and I wasn't aware that I would be able to.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was a complete surprise, a very pleasant surprise, because it's completely different being a spectator opposed to being in the car,
Yeah.
feeling the speed of the car. Yeah, that was absolutely amazing, fun.
Yeah. All right, so let's start there then. Like, we get to the event, still you not knowing really what to expect. What's going through your mind when we're pulling into the paddock?
Well, I was kind of scoping out the scenery, and everybody's setting up their camp, and just kind of, I mean, nothing was really going on at the time. Everything was just getting started, but the amount of people that were there was overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And they just kept pouring in.
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
even when we got there, like, staging was pretty full because they staged us up so we could get registered, and then they let us go into the paddock to park.
Okay.
And it was pretty full. And we kind of got through that section, after we got signed up and they started pulling cars in and everybody's parking and stuff. And you realize how big that parking lot is. You're like, okay,
Huge.
there's a lot of space here. But even then, that evening, we're like, okay, people are still coming in. They're still lined up. Like the streams of cars and trucks and trailers and everybody, it's thousands of cars.
It was fun.
It feels like thousands of cars. Maybe it's realistically 500 or 600, given all the different disciplines.
Yeah, I remember there's also spectators that bring their own cars too, though.
Not on that day when
No?
we pull
Okay.
in. Yeah. And they actually park in a different area. They're not allowed in the paddock.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So, given that, you kind of see that more people are filing in, and you're thinking, what are all these losers doing here?
No.
Everyone's a winner.
No, I was not aware that type of thing existed. So it was fascinating. And to see all the different cars and the preparation that everybody was doing, the night before that all of the festivities began the following day.
Yeah.
It was just very interesting to see everything and yeah.
How much actually goes in behind
Yeah.
the scenes to be ready to drive the next morning. Yeah.
And there being families, there was, kids running around. There was, and the fact that there was families there and everything was, it was safe. Everybody was kind of looking out for each other. There was a lot of respect with the noise when it was time to sleep.
Yeah. 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 Actually, it didn't go too late. I was kind of happy about
What,
that.
like 10 o'clock?
Yeah, about, excuse me. Yeah,
Bless
about
you.
that.
Okay.
About 10. Not too bad.
Yeah.
So next day, we get up fairly early. You want to be ready to go, have a cup of coffee at least.
With your Milwaukee coffee maker?
That's right.
It's coming.
Yeah. Heading over to the autocross course, thinking that you're not going to get to ride or anything. So the first few laps, like you're starting to see cars out on course and that kind of stuff. What's that like for you to kind of get a feel for what everybody's doing?
It was exciting to see, again, all of the different cars and just the revving of the engines and how everybody was lining up and just everybody kind of, I guess the respect of everyone and how everything flowed was very interesting and neat to watch.
Yeah.
So I know it's a very different feeling watching a car and sitting in the passenger seat. So the first time you were in that Corvette and it took off, what was your thought?
Oh my God.
Holy shit, they can do that?
Yeah, it's completely different. Being in the car, I mean, the adrenaline rush and it just reminded me going on a roller coaster and you're in a theme park and you're going to the top and you're dropping. It kind of reminded me of that. It was exciting. I really enjoyed it.
I warned her that she might get car sick,
Yeah.
but
I did not.
did not.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was excited. I was like, okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Handled it really well, which was pretty awesome. Yeah, the autocross on paper or even standing on the sidelines, it can be interesting enough standing on the sidelines, but it doesn't seem like much.
Yeah.
Like to stand and watch or even to try to describe it to somebody.
So, like, you're going 45 miles an hour in a parking lot.
And then when you jump in the car and you feel it, it's a
Whole nother
different
animal.
Yeah.
When you're looking at it, you don't see. I mean, you don't know how fast it is.
Yeah.
Until you're in the car.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was entertained watching and seeing the times and seeing how quickly people were going around the course. But yeah, it's completely different being in the car and feeling the force of the car.
Yeah.
So that's the feeling I had the first time I got in a car with Bert.
Oh yeah, and that's a good ride.
Yeah.
Bert's he's a good driver.
Like,
Entertaining. He's entertaining to ride.
yeah,
with.
he's fun.
I don't have the same horsepower as you guys, but I put a hell of a ride for all my passengers.
It's because the car leans so much from side to side. You're not sure if you're going to roll over.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely something. Like, describe from your newbie perspective what it's like to see the course from in the car, so the autocross course?
Everything goes. I mean, we walk the course in the morning, but when you're in the car, I mean, as someone who has not gone that speed, it's impossible to pay attention to all and to expect all of the turns and everything that you're doing. So, yeah, that's, I mean,
Cones are coming at you.
yeah, cones are coming at you. You have to be quick. You have to be quick and respond quick to the car. You have to know what you're driving. Yeah, that was fascinating.
Is light speed a good adjective to describe that?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, things fly at you pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
So I got to know. So what did you think autocross was going to be from the way he described before going to the event? What did you have in your mind thinking this is what it is?
Well, I knew it was like car racing on a course, but it was the different courses that he was on. I didn't. I just, like you see the F1 races where they're going around and around in the course. That's kind of what I had in my head that it was going to be like, and multiple cars. So it was different than what I had pictured. But it was, yeah. I'm excited for the next.
Got you hooked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got like that.
You gonna drive?
Oh, I'm happy being a passenger.
Get a little four banger and learn how to
Little Miata.
run those cones.
I know right now just feeling the car and how quickly, and if I can keep up with the course in my head, then I would feel comfortable driving. But right now it's like,
So, I've done both. It is way different from the passenger seat than the driver's seat.
Yeah.
So the cones from the driver's seat, they don't come up as fast as they do in the passenger seat.
Yeah, because you're in control of your own destiny.
That's right.
Like your right foot, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, but as a driver, you're already knowing where to look, and you're prepping for that. Your body, everything is. And so, as a passenger, especially if you're not used to where the course is, everything seems more sudden because you're not figuring out which way you're supposed to look.
Yeah, you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
So when we did course walk, I tried to describe what we're looking at, how we're reading a course, right? They laid theirs out very similar to the way we do with two different color cones and that kind of stuff. Makes it super easy to read.
Yeah.
But I was doing that also to prevent the car sickness thing, because if you can expect where we're going to be turning left, right, and braking, then you can be prepared in the car, and that will eliminate the car sickness. Like if you don't know what's coming, you don't know when you're going to be braking or turning left or right, that can mess with your head. But you did great. You didn't have that issue.
When you walk the
A lot
course,
of people do.
When you walk the course, did you do it like normal people do, which is make car noises and pretend you're shifting and saying I'm going fast here, braking?
Come on.
I did not.
Okay.
Even I do that.
Did I do that? I may have. Did I do that? I don't remember.
Be about right here.
Yeah.
I had a lot of energy. I had a lot of nervous energy that I had to burn, so I did a lot of jumping around.
yes.
And I have to continually move all the time, just waiting my turn. Like, come on. It's not going fast enough.
Yeah. 1 hour later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
1
yeah.
millennium
1 hour later and the car won't start. Damn it.
Did anyone have tire warmers there?
No.
I'm surprised.
Tire warmers are not legal.
They're not?
No.
Why would they be?
Well, because you're waiting an hour in line. You put them on.
Yeah, but everybody is then
Everybody's doing it.
in the same shape.
Do what I do.
I mean, if one guy's got tire warmers and nobody else does, that's not a fair advantage.
Do you have a propane tank on it?
Dude,
What?
stop it.
It's called reading the rules.
No. Anyway, I just wanted your perspective of that. So when we got to your first ride was on the short autocross course, the tight one, right? So we got the ins, zigzagging around the cones. We got the what did you call it? The weavy. So when we're doing slalom, you're going straight at it. No, I'm not. It's okay. After we did that and we went over to the road course, describe the difference between that.
Well, the bigger course,
Yes.
I could anticipate what we were going to do next.
Easier to see.
It was easier,
Yeah.
whereas the smaller course, I mean, even though we walked it, I had no idea other than the zigzag. I knew that was coming up. but both I enjoyed
Yeah.
equally.
Yeah. A lot higher speed on the road course.
Yes.
I did see you trying to pull the handle off the door.
Yes, those were my hanging on for dear life in my invisible brake.
It was pretty funny because we would sit in staging waiting for the guy to give us the wave ahead, right? And as soon as he waved his hand to go, I see her just right hand reached out to the door handle. She's grabbed on. Okay, I'm ready. It's pretty funny. It was enjoyable.
The anticipation.
Anticipation.
I gotta ask, for the way they said the autocross challenges, did they have like different colored pointer cones like we do with the Fiber Corvette, or were they all orange?
So
That was
they
the-
did reverse of what we did. They used the stand-up corner cones were green.
Oh wow!
And then they had the oranges as the pointers. They also had
That's
they also had stand-up orange ones though, but those marked more of like outlier corners and that kind of stuff.
okay,
So, but it was very similar. I mean, it was a good contrast.
yeah. The reason I bring it up is because Wendy. So typically, most clubs, I would say, set up an orange cone for pointer or whatever. And so if you're very new to autocross, it could be very distracting because it's just a sea of orange.
Yeah, it's hard to read.
And some clubs like ours, they use different colors to indicate which direction it's going, and it's a little bit easier to read. So yeah, that's what I was asking. I didn't
Yep.
know like how complicated it was
Right,
up there.
right. No, they did a really good job. They did have those certain areas of the course that have basically the stand-up orange cones that mean nothing. You know, they're there for distraction, or they lay out the outside of a corner, like a corner of a wall on the outside of a corner or something like that. They did have some of that, but I thought their course layout was very clean. It was super easy to read. They had some tight gotcha spots, you know, that you really had to give it up to go fast.
Yeah. I got to ask, with that many cars going through, and especially going through an autocross course,
Yep.
with that much rubber on the ground, was it way noticeable on your third lap? Not just because of heat, but like, was it more slick because it was more rubber than asphalt in some parts?
I see what you're saying. Like, I'm sure it made difference in some areas of the course.
Like a hard braking zone, I would assume.
Yeah.
You sliding more.
Right.
How about the start-stop? Did you
necessarily.
notice a difference? The last.
There's too many questions coming at me at once.
Aye.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Like, that extra rubber can make a difference as far as your grip and that kind of stuff, but I can't say that I necessarily noticed it. My tires were used to begin with going into the weekend, and by by the end of the weekend, they're done. They're shot, especially after start-stop. But they also ran drifting on that same course. They would clear out the autocross course, and they would have drifters come through there too, which was, laying down more rubber, not necessarily in the right spots for us to utilize in corners or whatever. But they also had chalk lines out there that we had to get rid of, and that would, make those spots slippery again. So
Yeah.
But everybody had to deal with the same thing. So I can't say that I really noticed extra rubber being a benefit.
Okay.
I did like one of the corners right before the finish was pretty high speed offset cones coming into the corner, but you really had to give it up to make this left hand hairpin almost. They had an outside wall on that corner, and I slid right through it the first lap. But I kind of figured it out pretty quick that the best line, at least for me, and the way my car was driving. But I like those kind of gotcha sections where you actually have to pay attention. You have to read it ahead of time, be really early, and give it up. Otherwise, you're wasting more time than you're doing good.
Speaking of which, what kind of driving style did you use at that event? Did you use it where it was more like
Attack.
so point and shoot?
No, you had to set up.
So you were setting up, carrying
Yeah.
through speed a lot of it.
Yeah, you had to set up, but you also had to be ready to attack out of the corners. Like, you had to be early out. And since I was having some anti-lock braking issues, I had to really pay attention to my braking points and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. With that being said, with him having problems with analog, was there any parts, Wendy, that you were like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit?
Yes, there was. He's a badass driver, though. He
Yeah.
really, really is. And I trust him 100%. But yes, there was a couple of those times where I was definitely pushing on my invisible brake.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got control of the car and he did awesome.
Nice.
He did awesome.
Control and keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah, I did lose it in the slalom. I have no idea what run it was, but I think it was like maybe run 2 or 3. Into the slalom, the lap before, I'd set a really good time actually, but I thought, I think I'm giving up a little bit of speed there, and I can do better. I came in plenty fast, and it was about the second turn in. I was like, okay, give it a little more throttle here. Well, that little bit was too much.
Yep.
And I lost the back end. I went a little bit deep and tried to reconnect, and I'm staring at a concrete wall, and then
Yes.
and then I bring it back around, and I just kept going. I did hit a cone on that run,
One's better than wall.
but it was absolutely. But
Much
it was
better.
it was a really good run, and I actually had a few people come up to me after, and it was like, "Whoa!" We all went, "Uh-oh!"
That's funny.
But it was super fun. It was a good run.
Nice.
Yeah. So there was incidents where I, lost the back end or pushed through a wall here or there. I did definitely hit some cones, but I was pushing. I was trying to, get better times and that kind of stuff. It paid off. I mean,
Yeah.
I was competitive and I enjoyed that. Yeah, it was a really good weekend.
So, if the master cylinder on the other car was fixed,
Yeah.
do you think you'd have been faster in that?
That's potentially at least as fast, because the brakes on my black car are way better and more controllable for me.
Because of the ABS, or
No, they just have better feel.
okay,
The silver car brakes just lock up. If you're too aggressive, they just lock up.
aren't they the same kind of calipers and stuff, or what?
No, they're
Okay.
not.
So what do you have versus what's the difference?
Silver car has AP Racing brakes, Radicals. They're fantastic brakes, but there's an ABS issue, and not necessarily that you're using the ABS, but it lacks feel, right? You don't get,
It's like on off.
they're on off right
Okay.
now. They need a little bit of work, or I'm just not used to it. Like I said, it's been 3 years since I'd ridden that car. By the end of the weekend, I was actually doing really good with the braking. I just had to be a little more gentle on the foot. And the other issue is an hour between runs, the brakes are cold. The first 2 turns, you're like, you got no feel. By the time the end of the course, I actually had some feel. But then you wait another hour and you do it again.
That's why when you get to the starting line, you gotta just step on the gas, burn your tires, have them spit some rubber, and just the whole time pushing the brake.
Yeah, piss
Get them hot that way.
It does absolutely nothing. That does absolutely nothing. Ruin your tires.
Gets your rotors hot.
No, it doesn't.
You're holding on your brake at the same time.
And they're stopped. You're not moving.
Your back tires are moving.
Oh my
Your
God.
back brakes.
It's no wonder you get 36th. Yeah,
I got 5th.
whatever.
Okay.
Anyway,
What was
I do think that if I had to run my black car, because I am more familiar with it and just how it works, even though it's less horsepower than the silver car,
yeah.
I probably would have done relatively the same.
Yeah.
I really feel like I would have, just because the offsets. Like, I'm more familiar with the braking, and I feel like I can drive that car into a corner deeper than I could the silver one this last weekend.
What did you think of the engine setup in the silver car? Because you're planning on
It's a
making
freaking beast.
planning on making your black car the same, right?
Yes.
So then, give us some detail of like what you liked, what you didn't like about it. There's got to be something you didn't like.
Why?
I don't know.
Why does there have to be something?
Always
I
room
didn't
for
like?
improvement.
No, actually, I like it very much. I think the engine setup is really, I think it's better than it was before the thing got rebuilt. Before it got rebuilt, it felt throttle-wise, response-wise. I mean, it responded just as quickly, but the tires broke loose too easily before. Like, where the power came on was
Really low.
too aggressive.
Okay.
Now it's got more horsepower, but it's somehow more linear.
Okay.
Like, I could really get aggressive and it wouldn't step out massively.
Okay.
And it's super fast. So I don't know. It the profile of the power delivery is really good in it right now.
What did you think of? Because the black car has a wing, the silver car has a.
I think I
tail.
could have used the wing this weekend.
More downforce.
More
Did
downforce.
you feel like? Okay.
Yeah. The back end of the silver car is a little loose anyway, just because of horsepower, right? The short course, maybe your wing is not going to play as big of a difference in how the car sticks or that kind of stuff. Though I have noticed it in the black car with fairly low speed courses, you can feel the difference. I've adjusted the wing flatter and then given it more downforce, and you can tell the difference. I think I could have used that. I think a spoiler does work, but not as aggressively. And so the silver car just has the 6-inch spoiler on it.
Okay. Is there anything you changed in for suspension-wise for the silver car to get prepped for the event?
No, I just put a really good autocross alignment on it.
Okay.
The suspension on that car had been rebuilt pretty much just before it got parked the final season. Maybe it only had 3 events on it.
Okay.
So it's, I think they're Bilsteins, but they pretty fresh rebuild on those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since they were cold tires, was it a whole different process to adjust your tire pressures?
I didn't have to touch much. I adjusted them more on the track cross than I did for regular autocross. They would climb like 1 pound, 1
That's
psi between, or after a run.
Yeah.
But you're letting it sit for so long between runs, you don't really have to mess with it.
Okay.
And I ran yokes front and rear on Friday. I ran RE71s on the front and yokes on the rear on Saturday.
How big RE71s do you have? Because I thought they only run. Well, you run 18.
295s.
295 is the biggest you can get.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's the biggest.
I ran 295 315 because street tire yokes, you can't get 335s.
You ran RE71s in the front and yokes in the back then?
Correct.
How was the compound difference?
The yokes don't turn in as well as the RE71s.
So when you're going into the corner, if they're on the back end's not going to be
No,
slipping out then?
the back is okay. It's the front that is
Okay.
the issue. That's why I ran the RE71s on the front to get a little better bite, a little
Yeah.
better turn in. And it worked. So, yeah, the yokes don't turn in as sharp. They're good, really good tires, and I wouldn't have a problem running them, but I just thought, well, I have them. I brought them with me. I'm going to try them.
How many sets of tires you bring?
Just in one extra set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I always bring an extra set in case
2
of
or
a
4?
weird flat, both front and rear, because I'm running staggered.
Sure on that one.
Yeah. So I bring 4 tires.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never want to be out of a competition because I got a flat.
Is 295 the widest you can run the front of the car?
No, 315.
Okay.
I can run 335s actually, but they do rub.
Okay. And the ones do you have in the back then?
335.
Widest. Okay.
Yeah. But yokes only make a 315.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So pretty small setup. I would love to have run like the Vitours or Hoosiers, but I didn't spend the extra money to buy brand new tires for this event.
Yeah.
Next year I will.
Yeah.
And that way I can run 335s and 315s. And that extra traction would have made a big difference. It really would have.
You're thinking Hoosier track attacks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Either the track attacks or the new Vitours.
Did you ask
I
anyone?
want to try those.
What was
Duke.
Duke? What tires was he running?
He ran the track attacks.
He did.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
That's
And
interesting.
he said he had a pretty good, because he runs all kinds of different tires, but he's always been a Yokohama and RE71 guy.
Yeah.
He said the track attacks give you a little more notice before they lose traction.
Oh, interesting. Like,
Yeah,
in terms of
especially
feel or in terms of sound? You say?
feel.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
especially compared to the Yokohamas. They give way more
Wow.
notice. A little bit better notice before they lose traction than the RE71s. So that's a pretty good review
Yeah.
to me.
That is
Yeah.
interesting.
So, and he was fastest out of everybody. So, I mean, that's a good review right there too.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah. Anyway, I do think that the bigger tire setup would have made a difference. Now, for my class, I still did really well. You can't get much better than first. So, but I don't know. I could have dropped
You know it's
maybe
better
maybe
than
in the
fir- you know it's
maybe in
better
the
than first?
overall.
You know
Maybe in the overall, I would have finished better.
You know it's better than first?
There isn't anything better than
It's
first.
definitely everything better than
No.
first. You know what it is?
No.
Yes, it is.
Stop it.
The participation badge.
That's the one that Grant gets all the time.
Hooray.
I fucking hate you right now.
I know. You're ridiculous.
Yeah.
Participation badge.
Yeah.
That's only your generation.
Yeah.
Our generation didn't need padded rooms.
I'll tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. If I went to LS Fest and got the participation badge, you can guarantee there'd be a badge art because be the only Ford motor there.
They don't give those out.
They wouldn't have let you in the
That's
gate.
what I'm saying. If I got a participation badge, you cannot tell me that'd be the best badge there.
No, it wouldn't be. They would give it to you just to get you away. They'd be
Exactly.
Like, please take this and go. You're the worst.
Ollie went to Vegas and got this badge.
Yeah. I need you to put an LS in that car so you can actually have something that's good.
Dun dun dun.
He
All right.
hurts my head.
Yeah. What else? You got anything else that really stuck out? What was your favorite part of LS Fest West?
Being in the car.
Being in the car.
Yeah. Being in the car.
Which did you like? Autocross Course 1, Course 2, or Start Stop better?
The course 1 and course 2, I like them equally. Start stop, I enjoyed it, but it was a little scary because you're going full fledged at concrete walls.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
you have to know that car.
I had to walk the Start Stop to see how much room we had between the turnaround and the concrete wall. And I was like, okay, that's enough. I should be okay.
But it was super fun.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So autocross 1 and 2, you'd say just as fun, either one. Personally, I liked course 2 because that's track cross and I just like that stuff better. But yeah, that's good. Anything else like, oh, I know what your favorite was. The Burnout Wars.
Oh God, that was going on for so long. I
Yes.
mean, every day, all day long. That's an expensive sport. Very
Is
expensive.
it a sport?
I don't know. Apparently,
Yeah. Burnout Wars is interesting. I mean, people just take their cars over there and run them on the rev limiter until either the tires blow out or the motor blows up.
How do you win?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And you can't
Those
see
are not
the
new
cars.
tires, by the way.
You can't see
Doesn't
the
matter.
cars half the time because of all the smoke.
Yeah.
Actually,
So much smoke.
there are some new tires over there.
Really?
Yeah.
People buy new tires just to
blow 'em up.
smoke them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of want to build a car for that, just to build a fan so the smoke at least is like a tornado. That way it's
You
like
know what?
more interesting.
You know what I would build for that?
Be more
Fan
interesting.
car.
No. I'd build a Plymouth Fury 3 with an LS.
I was thinking DeLorean, but that's a good one too.
Okay.
I had a buddy that had a Fury 3 growing up. That thing did the best burnout.
I have to know. Did you either one of you guys see a mini or a smart car there?
Did not.
Where would you put the LS?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I've heard they've done it, but I've not. No, I didn't see any of those.
Smart car. Be hard to get that in there. You'd have to shoehorn the hell out of it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
No idea. Off-road was interesting. We did go watch off-road, watch the trucks jump and stuff. The action was a little few and far between, so maybe it was just the event that we chose to watch. But
I don't think there was
we watched for about an hour, and it's like, okay,
as many participants in that.
there wasn't.
Did you guys do any ride-alongs with any other contenders?
I did not.
No. No. Okay.
Could have. But
Yeah.
No, did not.
Okay.
Man, yeah, I think that's
Was there
pretty
more
much the
walking
recap.
there than SEMA?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. I did bring my scooter though because anywhere I can ride, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
But
Gotta get your razor out.
yeah, not that. No, my motorcycle.
Oh, okay. Long scooter.
Yep.
Grom, is that what it is?
No.
It's a Navi. Drag racing was pretty fun to
The
watch.
tandem drag racing was a lot of fun to
Yep.
watch.
Yep. They had a hard time getting them hooked up, but that's street tires on a drag course, and yeah, we watched a little bit of everything just to take it all in. You know, it's
Yeah.
quite a big event and there's a lot going on. So wanted to make sure we saw everything that we could.
Nice.
There was not any boring time there whatsoever. There was always something going on.
Yeah, that's something else I'll say. Like the crew, the FM3 Performance puts that on. You know, we talked to Jimmy Day.
Yep.
Man, they do a good job.
Did you see him again?
Very well organized. No, I don't think he was there. Very well organized. Like they really tried to run the starts of the events like clockwork.
That's
so you could plan your day. They had a schedule, and like you're supposed to be in grid at this time, and you know they had a couple of times that things ran a little behind schedule, but they always announced, "Hey, we're running 15 minutes late, but get to grid anyway and do this." And I don't know, they did a really good job, and they had plenty of staff people there to help you point the right way. They had great help at the autocross courses, the starters, the grid people.
Everyone very pleasant.
Super friendly people too. Yeah, really good. And even for all those people and all the attendants from outside, there was very little disruptive activity. You know, we saw the one fight in grid from some people that, probably shouldn't have been there to begin with. And then one other thing happened, I think,
At the car
at
show.
the car show or Burnout Wars, but that was really it. And it wasn't anything big that put a big damper or sourness on the event.
You almost wouldn't have noticed it.
Right.
I mean, it was taken care of right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all events that big have something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to avoid.
But it was a minimal for as big of an event as it was.
Right. So, yeah, congratulations to those guys putting on a great event. I thought it was great. I will go back again. I will try to recruit as many people in our circle to go as I can,
That'll be fun.
because I think it's worth doing. And I think doing it as a group, it would be even better.
Yeah.
Even more fun, because there's so much to do, and like it's well worth it. It's run good. Yeah. Even
Jimmy-
though it's a 14-hour
Jimmy.
one-way drive.
It's not a bad drive.
Nah, it went pretty good. Pretty smooth.
We got to see the Wiener Wolves again.
Wiener Wolves.
And
A
your
wiener
clown-
dog.
Your clown hotel.
The Clown Hotel.
Clowner.
And then that steampunk octopus that was random at that one town.
Little ghost towns, right? Just these, and I don't know if it was a hotel, for sure a restaurant.
It was a casino.
Was it a casino?
It's all the above.
I guess, yeah, it probably was. Hard to tell going through these little towns.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that people, all 12 of them live out there in the middle of the desert. Yeah. I don't know. They had this iron steel cladding on the outside of a building, kind of steampunked looking, with gears and an octopus hanging off the front of it. And I don't know, some other artwork. Kind of a crazy thing, but just out in the middle of the desert. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know where this stuff comes from. Yeah. It is really crazy, but good. Very good. You got any other questions?
Probably do.
Yeah?
I don't know. Not off the top of my head right now,
How
though.
about you?
No.
No? Pretty good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that review kind of answers the questions and maybe gets some people thinking about going to LS Fest. If
Yeah,
you
I
got
would
something.
go. I think it'd be fun.
it's a blast, and I will do it again. It's
I'm
absolutely.
hoping
worth
it doesn't
going
take
down there
place
for.
on. I love ORP. It's one of my favorite events, and but I'm hoping
This is
next year
better.
it's not the same.
This is
time.
better.
I
But-
can believe that.
But you need an LS to drive down there.
I could go there and be a visitor.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you would really enjoy driving the event. I mean, there's so many. You would bounce from one place to the next talking to 10,000 different people. So maybe you should just come down
Yeah.
as Grant.
There you go.
Yeah.
With we'll get him 1,000 stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
And a lot of actually, I'm going to add this real fast. I did find out Polaroids taking at the event, because we're known for when we go to events, we take Polaroid
Right.
photos with our fans and stuff like
No.
that.
You.
well-
You are known for that.
Us.
It's fine. I'm with you, bud.
Direct sunlight, even if it's not direct on the outside, I was getting about half my photos actually coming out and half of them not. So it's something, just another thing I learned that's not racing, but at a racing event learned.
Okay, well, if you're taking Polaroid photos, people, now you know. Keep
Yeah.
them out of the sun.
Well, I mean, even if I should clarify, if you're taking a picture of a car and any of it has reflective sunlight on that, that could be enough to destroy a photo.
Oh,
you
you
have to
mean
look
as
at-
far as the exposure of it?
Correct. So you have to look at make sure no bright focus is on.
Your composition must be correct.
Yeah.
All right.
So
This Polaroid moment brought to you by Grant.
please sponsor us.
Yeah, yeah. Take that. Instax, Polaroid, any of you. It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we don't have anything else, we'll close it out for the day.
Okay. Well,
Reach out to us at untitledcarproject@gmail.com
top 3 things.
or on Messenger. Oh,
Yeah.
Thanks for remembering.
What are you doing?
I'm closing it out, man.
Top
It's-
3 things.
All right. Got some
Wendy's here.
questions.
Oh,
Studio.
Questions for Wendy.
The
yes,
most
she
important-
is. We
He
forgot.
didn't prep you for the most important
Damn.
questions.
I did prep.
Okay.
Actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I gave you some homework
Yes, you did.
with 10 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
Good catch, Grant.
Yeah,
Good catch.
it was a good catch. All right, we'll start with what 3 vehicles would you really like to drive someday?
A Lamborghini, a Supra, Corvette.
Okay.
Ooh, what Supra?
What Lamborghini?
I don't know.
Corvette.
A cool one.
You shut your mouth. I want to know about the Supra.
All right.
I don't know.
Can you describe what
But
they
a
look
Supra.
like, and we could tell you what each is.
I
what.
can show you a picture.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
that's
tell you what
even
it is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay. So Jeremy,
I'm
will
excited
tackle
about
Supra.
this. I love the Supra.
Okay.
They're such a pretty car.
She's going to show you BMW, isn't she?
I mean, it is the same thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if it's a new one, it's
The new one is a BMW. That's
Yep.
true.
yep. Are you old school though?
I like
Old
the
school Supra. Can't find
What?
it now.
I had an old school, like a 93, 94 pull up next to me in Longview one time. And the guy wrapped it up and spit like a 6-foot flame out of the back of it. It was pretty cool.
Did you turn to him and say,
You what?
more than you, pal?
No.
There was people.
you can afford, pal. That's reversed now, right?
Oh, yeah.
An MK5
Oh yeah, that's a Beamer.
BMW?
Beamer.
It's the new one. It's the new
the new
version.
one.
That's
Okay.
it's a nice car though.
It's a nice car.
Yeah, that's a nice car.
Okay.
We might know a guy that's got one for sale.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Did he sell it yet?
No, he still hasn't.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's sitting over on your
It's at my
property.
house. Yep.
Oh, all right. Yeah, as far as like revving, there was a lot of revving at the event.
Yeah.
Like the car show people, especially, we tried to walk through there, and there one guy would rev this engine, and then the next guy down the, and then the next guy down there, and then the next. Oh my gosh, it was annoying. Oh no, it was so loud. Like they're trying to throw flames out the exhaust, and they're backfiring and popping, and I don't really
I
understand
know we're getting
it.
off
During the
topic.
car show, they were doing that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then the one Cadillac guy, he constantly revving his motor, trying to blow it up or something.
I know we're getting off topic.
Okay.
And I just have to add one thing to off topic.
Okay.
Earplugs recommended or not for LS Fest?
I think it depends on what you're there to see. If you're there for the burnout contests and stuff, then yes, I would suggest it. If you're in normal autocross pits or whatever, not
No.
necessary.
Okay.
It wasn't that loud.
Okay.
Sunscreen
Sunscreen recommended.
And a sweatshirt.
and a sweatshirt.
And a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it got cold.
Back to list though. So we got the
Okay, the
BMW
Lamborghini.
Supra, Lamborghini.
Any
There's
Lamborghini.
old
just
one, new one.
Any of them.
Any of them.
Any?
Yeah, I don't know much.
Rob,
Probably a Gallardo.
we got one.
Oh,
She
it
said
doesn't, it doesn't run though.
No.
Not yet. We can put her in and push it.
Nope.
Yeah, and take pictures.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't even do that.
No wheels.
It's not a real Lamborghini.
Okay.
All right.
And then Corvette. Which Corvette? Old school. This
Yeah.
kind.
More old school.
Old school. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, what's old school? Like a Stingray or like the
The
Like-
Stingrays are pretty.
like the
Okay.
green one that's in the shop.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
That one you'll get to drive that one.
Okay.
All right.
An LS.
It's not an LS.
it's a Chev 350 probably.
Yep. Short
Yeah,
block
but
350.
with an LS.
No.
Probably not.
Okay, just not going to LS Fest. How dare you?
Yeah.
All right, next 3 questions.
Okay. If money's no object or concern, what 3 cars would you like to own someday?
A badass Supra.
Okay.
Okay.
Carmageddon.
Oh, very good.
Ooh,
Nice.
and a Jeep.
Just a Jeep
right.
Wrangler,
A souped up.
souped up Jeep Wrangler.
Yes.
All right.
Could we be more
Like-
specific?
Color
the
of
one-
choice.
Like the one you showed me earlier.
Yeah, but my color of choice, interior,
What's the color?
What's the color?
purple.
Oh yeah, I should have
Nice.
known that. Yep.
Hang on, I gotta know. Have to know.
So I was thinking about this today. My
Okay.
3 cars have changed
Have they changed?
since the first time we talked about it.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I gotta know, Wendy. What's your thoughts on this Jeep? Yes or no?
No.
I don't like the color.
Okay. For our listeners, Rob, will you please describe that?
I can describe it without
No.
looking,
No,
without
he will not.
without looking. That is a Jurassic Park Jeep.
Probably in a red and white.
Red, white, and green.
No, it's red and silver.
Oh, silver. All right. Yep. You're right. Bad colors. Yeah.
All right.
See, I knew that without even looking
There you
at what
go.
you were doing.
Yeah, go.
Rude.
We'll edit that out. It's fine.
It could have been the Gilmore's Girls Jeep. You never know.
It could have been a Barbie Jeep.
Could have been a Barbie Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a
Probably
wild
not.
card. You never know with me.
No, you're not. You are predictable.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, last question. Very important. Very, very important question. Probably the most important question.
Yes. Back.
What car is a hard no?
Smart car.
Good answer.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Every smart
I don't
car?
think we've heard that one
Every
before.
smart
No.
car.
Every smart car.
Yeah, I don't think that one's come up
Okay.
yet. That's a good answer.
Yes.
I like that. No smart cars.
No smart car.
Okay. Did we appropriately finish the topics?
I think so.
Yes.
Have I missed anything?
Not this time.
Okay. Because that does happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody, thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. Again, hit follow, hit like, share it with your friends, even the ones you don't like.
Yep.
Um,
Send us an email at untitledpowerproject@gmail.com. Let us
Right.
know if you would like to possibly on the show or know someone who would be great as a guest on it.
yep.
If you have any suggestions or, heck, if you got any builds, let us know. We want to
would-
see them.
Love to hear about some builds. And if I reach out to you and ask about your car, just answer the email or the messenger. Send us a message on Messenger. I'll give you Grant's phone number.
Yay.
Amen.
Come on, man. Somebody please do it. I want
Somebody will hit us up
know.
one of these days,
hoping.
and I'm going to send
Yes,
that number out.
Absolutely. And yes, thanks for listening. Tune in again next week, and we'll have some fun again.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, you do.